From the studios here at CATV6 and RobinHoodRadio.com, welcome once again to Simply Sports. My name is Andy Williams. Thank you once again for tuning in. February 1. That's right. Where did January go? It's gone. And you know that means one thing. Tomorrow's the Super Bowl. Now, not the whole episode here is going to be the Super Bowl, but pretty much at least 75 to 80% of this show will be about the Super Bowl and the NFL. So if you are an NFL fan and or a San Francisco 49ers fan, or if you are a Kansas City Chiefs fan, this show is going to be for you. I want to do something pretty special, actually. Call in 860-824-4200, 860-824-4200. I want to hear your predictions for the Super Bowl. I do. I want to hear everybody's prediction for the Super Bowl. If you give the correct team who wins and the correct score on the button, I will give you a personalized Simply Sports with Andy Williams shirt. So a little incentive right there. But I do want to hear from everybody, because this is about as evenly matched of a Super Bowl as can possibly be. I mean, it is right down the middle. So I want to hear from everybody, not just over the phone lines, but online as well, on Facebook as well. Again, the live line is 860-824-4200, 860-824-4200. And that's how you reach me live. So I hope to hear from everybody during this hour. Now, I could be talking at all, and the phone can ring, and just bring up the score. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just give your name and who's going to win. That's it. If you want to give a reason why and go back and forth with me, you can. No big deal. So, before I get to the meat and potatoes part of the show, there were a couple things that did happen outside of football and outside of the Super Bowl. One thing being the whole New York Knicks fiasco. Now listen. I can say this for a fact. Now, the Knicks have hit rock bottom. They have. You don't think so? Perfect evidence. The other night, was it 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago? But anyhow, you have the Knicks, typical Knicks this season, stinking up the joint. And you have fans. You had one fan starting a chant, "Sell the team." That reverberated into the entire faithful at Madison Square Garden, 16,000 strong, chanting, "Sell the team." And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? With $73 million cap space, you couldn't land one free agent. Your best player, Marcus Morris, shoving Jay Crowder in an 18-point blowout, a blowout loss, is absolutely, there's no call for it. You have fans chanting "Sell the team." Then you have Marcus Morris post-game calling out Jay Crowder, saying that He has womanly tendencies on the basketball court. Okay, first of all, there's no call for that. I'm sorry. Now that's a whole nother line that Marcus Morris has crossed now. So here's what Marcus Morris needs to do. Shh. Your team has how many wins? 11, 12, 13? And you're shoving players because of the quote-unquote unwritten rules of basketball? Yes, and I do agree with Colin. Yes, there is no call to shoot a three when you're ahead by 20 points. Yes, and I get that. But you don't just run up to a guy and just blatantly push him, especially after the whole incident that we saw between Kansas and Kansas State last week, where there was a benches clearing brawl and it erupted into the stands. You had a player suspended for 12 games, so on and so forth. But let me just say this. And by the way, Colin Thompson, I know you're watching right now. Don't be shy to give a call in, too. The New York Knicks, with that much cap, they got to do something. I'm sorry, they got to shake things up. Now, what is there to do to shake things up? Well, what? Trade the entire roster? Well, I mean, you can't trade R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett is hurt, and they're going to be guarding his minutes. And you got a bunch of, dare I say, B- players, and that's being nice. That's being extremely generous on me calling them B- players. Yeah, the Knicks have been in a lot of games this year, but come on. It's now gotten to the point where it's absolutely unacceptable. And they're becoming a joke. I know that they have been a joke. However, this season especially, with all the expectations in the offseason and 70-something million, it has to end, and it must stop. I know Jim Dolan is making money hand over fist, but come on. Jim Dolan either needs to step down or at least get a partner with somebody. I mean, I don't understand. I don't get it. The Knicks haven't even been relevant since '94. So, unfortunately for the New York Knicks, much like the New York Giants, that franchise is set back another 10 years, and you're not going to see them relevant at least till maybe 2030 at the rate they're going. If you want to call in, 860-824-4200, 860-824-4200. Do not forget, give me your Super Bowl pick. I want to hear from you. I do. Or if you want to debate me on other topics, feel free. Zion Williamson, he's finally debuted. And he looks good. Many thought, he might not walk, let alone shoot a basketball. Yeah, he's pulling up from 20 and pulling up from 23 feet out like it's nothing. And don't, I know that the media is getting on the New Orleans Pelicans for limiting his minutes. Okay, look, here's the deal. Oh, there's one prediction right there. I'm going to mark this down right now real quick. So our first prediction, Skip Stupak predicts the Kansas City Chiefs over the San Francisco 49ers, 31-29. Zion Williamson is a once-in-a-lifetime player, much like LeBron was, much like Michael Jordan was. Now, Zion Williamson has a lot of things going for him right now. First of all, he's only 19 years old. And he's extreme. And also, too, he's a big guy. He's a real big guy. He's like 6'7", 285. And everybody's saying he's got to cut weight. Yeah, of course he's got to cut weight. Of course. Oh, I see another prediction. Eric Cyprus is saying San Francisco 49ers are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs 38-35 in a track meet. Thank you, Eric. Like I said, keep the predictions coming, ladies and gentlemen. Keep them coming. Eventually, yes, Zion Williamson is going to have to cut weight. And Zion Williamson is going to have to cut 20, 30, maybe 40 pounds down the line. But right now, my goodness, he looks, everybody's looking, oh yeah, let's see that dominant. No, he doesn't need the big dominant exclamation dunk. He's still getting his legs underneath him. He's only played 5 games. Don't rush it. I know everybody liked to rush into everything with LeBron James, but yet, you know, LeBron James, he's only had one major injury, and that was last year. And look at what happened. LeBron James is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Zion has an opportunity to be one of the best. But I think what the Pelicans are doing is very, very smart and very cagey. They're holding him back. They want to see what he can do before the All-Star break. And then they want to see how close they are to a playoff spot as well. And then eventually, after the All-Star break, I think you're going to see the Pelicans cut him loose. And he's going to start playing more and more and more minutes. And you're going to see him more and more in crunch time. And he's going to score, you know, those expectation points, you know, those 35, 40-point games. You're going to see him have a lot of those 35, 17 rebound games. And also what's very underrated as well is that he is a very good passer as well, much like LeBron. So be patient with Zion Williamson. He's going to be great. Just remember one thing. All the great players get called by one name. Look at Michael. LeBron, Kobe, God rest his soul. Zion's next. He is. But you just have to be patient with Zion. 860-824-4200, 860-824-4200 to come on live with me on Simply Sports. I do want to hear your Super Bowl prediction, whether it would be on the live line or on the internet, live on Facebook. If you get the correct score and the correct winner, you will get a Simply Sports shirt. That is a promise from me. Also, programming note for Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a longer show than usual. Every Wednesday I do the half hour long extravaganza. However, this next show coming up on February the 5th is going to be longer than usual for a couple of reasons. Number one, the ski jumps. We have the Super Bowl on tomorrow night. This region has their Super Bowl. Lakeville, Salisbury, and Region 1 have their Super Bowl next weekend in the ski jumps. And I'm going to have a very special guest. I'm going to have Willie Hallahan from SWASA, one of the heads of Salisbury Winter Sports Association, will be my guest live and in studio on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. As well, the other reason why it's going to be so long, it's because, ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday, not only is it my 3-year anniversary doing Simply Sports, going from talking to the edge of my bed in my room with the phone like this to speaking to you on television in front of a camera, but this will be the 100th episode on public access television for me. And I'm extremely honored and I'm extremely blessed that it has gone as long as it has. And I just got a prediction right now. Dan Odell is predicting San Francisco 28, Kansas City 24. Starting to see a theme here. But on Wednesday, it's going to be my 100th show on CATV6. And I cannot thank enough all the people that made this possible. Mike Flint, my producer, Marshall Miles from Robin Hood Radio, and Brian Oler, his ringing endorsement. Could not have done it without those 3 people. And it's going to be a fairly emotional show for me. So that is what you have to look forward to on Wednesday. Once again, too, I am also live on YouTube as well. Simply Sports with Andy Williams. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page and turn on the notifications. Australian Open. How about the young American Kenin? She defeated Gabrielle. I can't even pronounce her last name. I'll give it a try. Muguruza? in 3 sets. She came back from a set down and two breaks down to, hold on a minute, I have another prediction. Get my pen here. Colin Thompson, Kansas City 37, San Francisco 28. Thank you, Colin. She was down a set and a break to Gabrielle, and she fought all the way back, won the second set, and then absolutely blew her out in the third set, winning the third set 6-2 for her first career major championship, the 14th ranked woman in the world, her first major, one of the youngest major champions since, I believe, Madison Keys won the Australian a few years back. And obviously her world ranking is going to go up. She was ranked 14th in the world. Now I believe she's going to be ranked, I would say, 7th, maybe 8th, possibly. So congratulations to Sophia Kennan. The men's final is tonight, and if you want to stay up and watch it, 3:30 in the morning on Sunday. For all you tennis fans out there, Dominic Thiem, the 5th-ranked player in the world, takes on world number 2, Novak Djokovic. I think it'll be 4 sets. I think Novak Djokovic will get major number 18 and crawl to within 2 of Roger Federer. And I don't think you're going to see a lot of blowout sets in this match. I really don't. However, I just think too much Djokovic, too much talent. Novak takes home the prize. And again, if you want to stay up and watch some great tennis, 3:30 in the morning, Sunday morning. So if you kind of want a pre-game to the Super Bowl, 3:30 in the morning. I'll probably be watching a replay of it at about 8 o'clock when I wake up. Tony Finau shoots 62 this afternoon, actually literally about, an hour and a half before I walked in the door. To take the lead at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. He leads by 1 over Webb Simpson and 2 over J.B. Holmes. And, what's this thing? Oh, yes. And in at the Saudi International, Phil Mickelson is 6 off the lead after blowing off a tournament. First of all, let me just say this. Phil Mickelson has won Phoenix how many times? 3, 4 times? And he turns it down for a $2 million appearance fee just to walk in the door in Saudi Arabia? When you have 200,000 plus fans screaming your name at a course in which you've owned for 3, 4 times in your career, and you've played in the tournament since you were 19, 20 years old? Excuse me. Makes no sense to me. Really doesn't. Is he going to catch Graham McDowell at the top? No. Not a chance. Not a chance. So I think that's all really the sports I'm going to cover. So I can now get into the meat and potatoes part of the program, which is the Super Bowl. That is tomorrow. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you want to call in your predictions for the Super Bowl, 860-824-4200, 860-824-4200 is how you get live into the studio with me. As well, you can also leave your prediction on the side, on the comment section on Facebook. We already have a few predictions already. I want to see them, keep them coming, guys and gals. You call the score and the winner, you get a Simply Sports shirt. Very true story. So, Super Bowl is tomorrow. San Francisco 49ers versus Kansas City Chiefs. There were some awards that were given out. I don't believe that they've named the NFL MVP as of right now. I know that they named one of the Patriots cornerbacks all defensive player of the year, and as well Michael Thomas, the offensive player of the year from the New Orleans Saints. That I found a little surprising. A little surprising. I thought maybe they would give it to, I don't know. You have George Kittle from San Francisco. You have Lamar Jackson, even though Lamar Jackson, between you and me and everybody around, knows that Lamar Jackson is probably going to win NFL MVP from the Baltimore Ravens. So, those are some awards that have been going around. Two weeks until Daytona 500 start revving up. Yeah, I will. Don't you worry. I understand that the Great American Race is in 2 weeks. I get that. Trust me. I do. Also, as well, that have been one of the hot button topics that have been going around South Beach as of late is the expansion for the NFL to go to 17 games. Why 17? Why would the NFL want to make it 17 games? The NFL needs to keep it at 16 games. Why you're adding another game on to the regular season is beyond me. Here's the most simple solution I have for the NFL. Cut down on your preseason. Yes, obviously it has to do with money, Colin. I get that. However, cut down on preseason games. Only have 2 preseason games. You don't need 5 preseason games. You don't. That's blown way out of proportion. You're risking players, you're risking injury. Richard Sherman put it best during his media day from the 49ers. And he said something along the lines of, it comes with a price. What is the price that the players are going to take in order to play more games? They all talk about player safety, player safety, player safety, player safety, but yet they want to play more regular season games. And I agree with Richard Sherman. I do. Ever since I've been born, yes, again, I understand. It's more money. It's more revenue. I get that. I respect that. However, it doesn't make sense. And why on earth? Yes, I understand. Yes, the money, the network for TV, network TV. I get that. But however, the collective bargaining agreement coming up for the network TVs are up as of next season. I don't agree with more games. Two preseason games, I think, is good. You don't need 5 because then you're risking player injury and unnecessary player injuries when you're playing more exhibition games, because that's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is exhibition. And that's what these 5 games are. Now, would it break up ties? Yeah, it might. Sure. Okay. But we already have a good tiebreaker system as it is. Say if 2 teams are tied. Okay, best divisional record. Okay. Oh, what if they're tied with that? All right. You go to best conference record. And if that's tied, then go to head-to-head. If they played head-to-head. I think, you know what? Now that I think about it, if you're going to have more games in the regular season, it shouldn't be 17. It should be 18. If you're going to have more games, eliminate the preseason altogether. Just get rid of it. And then add 2 regular season games. Then you have 18. You start the regular season 2 weeks early. Season still ends at the same time. Playoffs start at the same time. Super Bowl still first Sunday in February. They could have lied. Yeah, of course. Of course they could have lied. But again, what the NFL, granted, I can't take away what the NFL has done. The NFL, by far, the number 1 cash cow in all of sports. There's no debating that, no arguing that under any circumstances. But when it comes down to player safety, this is something that needs to be taken into account. Before the players and the owners, and by the way, that agreement, the collective bargaining agreement, that's ending after next season, excuse me. And if the players and the owners don't agree on anything, Could there be a lockout? Could there even be a strike? That's something that a lot of people need to keep in mind after next season. Because God forbid if the NFL goes into a lockout again, it's not going to be good. It is not going to be good at all. 860-824-4200, 860-824-4200. That's how you get me live. Or you can leave your Super Bowl predictions in the comments section. I'm currently looking at it right now on the big screen TV. You have about 24 minutes roughly, maybe a little less, to give me your predictions. I have a few as of right now. Okay, so Super Bowl 54. We're finally here. 2 weeks of hype, 2 weeks of getting ready for the big game. It's done. It's over. Couple of 13-3 teams going to butt heads. San Francisco, first time in the Super Bowl in, 6 years, 7 years, when they faced Baltimore in the Superdome. And then there's Kansas City. Kansas City, who has not been in the Super Bowl since 1969, ladies and gentlemen. 50 years. A half century. Andy Reid is their head coach. You know all the cast of characters. You got Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, and that dynamic offense. A lot of people have said that this is probably the Golden State Warriors back when Steph and Draymond and Klay Thompson were running the show in the NBA. This is that team. Going up against San Francisco, Jimmy Garoppolo, the former backup to Tom Brady. He can remove that title of former backup to Tom Brady with a win tomorrow night. You have George Kittle, the dynamic tight end, and you have that unbelievable running game that they have, which is just, you have two of the best running backs. I take that back. Two of the hottest running backs in the postseason right now. You have the Niners that are a very smash-mouth team. San Francisco is a pound-the-ball offense. Kansas City, they'll chuck the ball down the field. Patrick Mahomes can throw the ball off his back foot 70 yards and catch any receiver in stride. However, their running game is suspect at best. LaShawn Shady McCoy has been hurt. He's been hit or miss. The other wide receiver, they've been basically doing a running back by committee. And they don't have a rusher that has rushed for more than 500 yards. While on the other side, you have 1,000-yard rusher and you have one that pretty much darn near has rushed for 1,000 yards. And you had that NFC Championship game where you had that one running back rush for 200 plus yards and 3 touchdowns and take the game over and blow the doors off of the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game. And then you get to the defense. San Francisco, one of the best defenses in the National Football League, giving up just 19 points a game on average. Kansas City, not as good as San Francisco. However, they still give up a modest 23 points a game on top of scoring 40 points a game. Here's the thing with Kansas City. Kansas City, in their last 2 postseason games, they've given up big leads. They spotted Houston a 24-0 lead. And then they outscored them 51-7. They gave Tennessee a 17-0 lead. Came back and they beat them. They cannot do that against San Francisco. That will not happen. If that happens, this is not going to be much of a Super Bowl. Let me promise you that. It'll be interesting to see, too, also, San Francisco doesn't have that great of special teams. Punt return, kick return. Kansas City still has the X factor there in Tyreek Hill. Whether he returns kicks, returns punts, if he's the guy and he could turn it on, Kansas City's going to start with a shorter field, then San Francisco every single time. And I think that that is a very big factor in this game, is field position. Because if everybody's going to be starting from a short field, this is going to be a track meet. You're going to see both teams in the 40s. Now, granted, it would be entertaining, no doubt. However, I don't see that happening. I think, kind of look down a checklist right now. And also, too, this is a very interesting fact, too. This is Patrick Mahomes. Granted, this is only his second season. Patrick Mahomes, this is his first postseason game away from Kansas City. They're on the road for the very first time. Excuse me. Now, granted, Jimmy Garoppolo, he was hurt. They've played 2 games against the NFC North, and the NFC North is not particularly strong. We saw what they did to Minnesota. I thought Minnesota was absolutely a fraud in that game. It should have been New Orleans playing San Francisco. It was offensive pass interference. And San Francisco torched Minnesota. They went up against Green Bay, and they made mincemeat of them. So now what happens here? The second best offense, San Francisco, against the third best offense in Kansas City. Well, you look at all the other statistics too. The line right now is 54.5. Actually, I'm going to double check that line right now because it might have switched. It could have switched. Just hold on to me for 1 second here. Might have changed while it's loading. I'll let it load. Anywho, as of right now, yep, nothing's changed. Kansas City is favored by 1.5 points. The game is essentially a pick'em. Toss a coin in the air, heads or tails. That's what this game is. If you're looking for two equal teams on the offensive side of the ball, I misspoke too. Kansas City was 12-4 this year. I'm sorry. I thought they were 13-3. San Francisco was 13-3. Just looking at the over-under went down to 54, but again, half a point doesn't seem much. Oh, and if you still want to get tickets to go down to South Beach and watch the Super Bowl in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium, tickets go as low as the mere sale price of $5,276 plus tax. Rousing endorsement, wasn't it? Okay. So, the line is 1.5. The over-under is 54. How I came to my Super Bowl prediction is this, and this is how I'm going to close the show tonight. I see a few people have wrote their predictions. It is split dead down the middle. 2 people Kansas City, 2 people San Francisco. Again, very close. Very, very close. Kansas City by points, barely, from what people are saying online. Here's a little history lesson, boys and girls. The AFC is 27-26 lifetime in the Super Bowl. In Miami, whenever the Super Bowl is held in Miami, they've held it 8 times in the city of Miami between the Orange Bowl, Joe Robbie Stadium, or Hard Rock Stadium. The AFC is 5-3. However, the NFC has outscored them for one reason. San Francisco beat up on the then San Diego Chargers, now Los Angeles Chargers, 49-28 in Super Bowl 29. The last time the Super Bowl was held in Miami, the Saints beat up on Peyton Manning and the Colts. Now, also, now you're saying, what is all this history stuff? Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. The Niners have been to the big game more often than Kansas City has, as I have alluded to. Obviously, the history with Joe Montana and Bill Walsh with the Niners. Obviously. The last time Kansas City was in, 1969. It's been a while. Kansas City holds an advantage too because they're playing in an AFC ballpark. And they don't have to travel as far. San Francisco to Miami, that's a 3,000-mile hike. Whereas it is from Kansas City to Miami, that is a 1,400-mile flight. As well, on the video game Madden 2020, they've simulated the game once. And they said that this game is going to be a blowout. And I could not disagree with them more. They said that the Niners were going to absolutely destroy Kansas City by 3 touchdowns. You're not going to see that. Not at all. In the past history of the Super Bowl, especially the last 3, 4, maybe 5 Super Bowls, it has been 10 points or less. And one of those games went to overtime. And that was the comeback by the New England Patriots over the Atlanta Falcons. You can make the argument that that was the greatest football game of all time. So now, here it is. My pick for Super Bowl 54 and my score. I believe that the line as of right now is 54 points. I believe that the line is going to be under. It's going to be close. This is going to be a close game. And if you're hedging your bets on whether this game might go to overtime or not, don't be shocked if this game went to overtime. I believe it's that close. I believe these two teams are very even. Here is the difference between the two teams. Yes, the front four of San Francisco is far superior than that of Kansas City. However, as I've alluded to, special teams will play a huge role in the game. But if Nick Bosa and that San Francisco defense do not get after the quarterback as they traditionally do on 1st and 2nd down, then they're going to have a long day down in Miami. And as well, one final stat. San Francisco, as great as they have been, in their 3 losses, I believe that they have lost by 5 points, 3 points. I think by a combined, 12 points have been their 3 losses? Other than that, they would have run the table. They've had one of the worst red zone efficiency ratings defensively. So, at the end of the day, Super Bowl 54 tomorrow night in Miami, Florida, Kansas City will win its first Super Bowl over the San Francisco 49ers in overtime, 27-24 on a Harrison Butker 47-yard game winner. Both teams will each have a possession. San Francisco will win the toss, They will punt. Harrison Butker will make the game winner, giving the Kansas City Chiefs their first Super Bowl since 1969. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to Simply Sports, February the 1st, 2020. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Simply Sports with Andy Williams. Make sure you tune in February the 5th, this coming Wednesday, my 3-year anniversary of Simply Sports and my 100th episode on CATV6. Willie Hallahan will be in the magic chair next to me talking about Salisbury Winter Sports Association, the 94th annual ski jumps. You don't want to miss that. Thank you very much for tuning in. And for Michael Flint, Marshall Miles, Brian Oler, thank you very much for tuning in. Happy Super Bowl to everybody. 1, 4, 3.